Many years ago, a teen and a younger boy encountered ninjas in the woods during a storm. The younger boy unleashed a mysterious power, creating giant roots and a pillar of light. In the present, 14-year-old Rokuju Miharu lives indifferently in a seaside town. His classmate, Aizawa Koichi, and teacher, Kumohira, want him to join the Nindu Club, revealing a hidden world called the World of Nabari. Kumohira warns Miharu that he's being targeted, explaining the ninja's interest in his power called Hijutsu. Miharu remains uninterested. Koichi is confronted by a ninja, Yamase, who seeks the Hijutsu. Miharu, drawn to a shrine, intervenes, revealing his power. Yamase captures Miharu, but a mysterious voice urges him to unleash a destructive force. Koichi stabs Miharu to prevent disaster. Kumohira intervenes, explaining Miharu's power is Shinrabanshu, controlling all things. In the school infirmary, Miharu questions why Koichi and Kumohira risk themselves. Kumohira pledges to protect Miharu until he becomes the ruler of Nabari. Miharu, indifferent, wants to return to his old life. The next day, Kumohira persists in convincing Miharu to join the Nindu Club. Shimizu Reimei, a blonde, pigtailed samurai, has a really bad habit of mistaking people for someone else and only relies on her sword as her strength. She comes to Banten to check out the Shinrabanshu. Much to her shock, she finds out how nonchalant, carefree, and most of all, how weak Miharu is. Following her assessment, Reimei expresses her concerns to Kumohira about Miharu's Hijutsu falling into the wrong hands because she feels that Miharu doesn't quite grasp the situation he's in. She also doesn't think Nabari alone can protect Miharu from the Kairaushu, one of the many groups after the Hijutsu. In the meantime, though, Nabari is apparently looking for a way to seal the Hijutsu and has asked Miharu to study ninja techniques so that he can better control the Shinrabanshu and also prevent it from possibly going berserk. After exchanging a few angry words, Reimei finally convinces Kumohira to let her take Miharu back to Fuma village so that she can introduce him to their leader, Fuma Kataru, who will hopefully help Miharu understand what it means to become the ruler of Nabari. So the four of them decide to make the trek out to Fuma village by Shinkansen, only to find out that Kumohira has a fear of riding vehicles. Eventually, they make it to the Fuma village, only to find its hidden mist jutsu dispelled and under attack. Shortly after their arrival, Reimei and her companions discover that the Fuma village is under attack by the Kairaushu. The target of this assault is revealed to be the village's Kinjutsu. Despite the village ninja's best efforts and the sudden appearance of Kumohira, the Kinjutsu scroll easily falls into the hands of Yukimi Kazuhiko, accompanied by Kairaushu's ninja Yoit, who unleashes a technique attacking opponents from within. Adding to the challenge, Yoit reveals the presence of Shinrabanshu. Realizing the formidable strength of their enemies and the absence of Fuma Kataru, Kumohira instructs the others to escape while he attempts to buy them time. Miharu, Reimei, and Koichi make a run for it, successfully recovering the scroll simultaneously with Miharu's unique technique. Meanwhile, Kumohira grapples with Yoit, struggling to repel his technique, and other Kairaushu ninjas give chase. Reimei stays behind to handle some of the enemy ninjas and catches up with the group later. Kazuhiko, recognizing that the mission didn't go as planned, decides to withdraw, adhering to his personal policy. Miharu and the others reunite with Kumohira, who is still locked in combat with Yoit. Kumohira warns them not to approach since Yoit is using a forbidden technique called Kira. While Kumohira attempts to comprehend the technique for an advantage, he falls victim to it. Yoit then proceeds to incapacitate Koichi and Reimei. In a final attempt to shield Miharu, Kumohira positions himself in front of him and is nearly fatally wounded. Yoit manages to hit Miharu's right eye with the Kira technique. In desperation, Miharu screams, prompting Kataru's arrival in the form of a giant cat, swatting Yoit away. After the attack by Yoit and the Kairaushu, Miharu gets treated in the infirmary. His right eye is bandaged, and Nanami Juji informs him that while scarring won't be an issue, his eyesight is uncertain. Kumohira, who suffered a concussion, assures he will recover. Fuma's vice leaders, Kataru and Saraba, visit to check on Miharu. Kataru explains Yoit's Kira Kinjutsu and the significance of the Shinrabanshu. Later, Kataru addresses the ninjas, introducing Miharu and expressing determination to retrieve the Kinjutsusho. Miharu questions Koichi and Kataru about their intentions with the Shinrabanshu. Kataru believes the power can bring paradise, but reassures Koichi not to worry. Afterward, Reimei advises Miharu not to take Kataru's words too seriously. Miharu questions Koichi about his motives, but leaves without discussing it further. Meanwhile, Yoit, recovering from overusing his technique, logs into a Kairaushu webcast. Leader Hattori Tajiro announces their plans to harness the Shinrabanshu's power. In Fuma, Reimei spars with Saraba, and Miharu visits Kumohira. Miharu suggests Tabkumo Harari considers his well-being when saving others. They later gather for a meeting. Miharu expresses a desire to extract the Hijutsu, but Kataru reveals it's lethal and would pass to another host. The Hijutsu's history is explained, with the Kairaushu aiming to gather Kinjutsusho for a new technique. On the webcast, Tajiro reveals the Kairaushu's plan, prompting Kataru to order his ninjas to obtain the Kinjutsusho. Surprisingly, Kataru advocates using force if necessary, unsettling Koichi, who questions the morality of such actions. Before leaving Fuma village, Kumohira instructs others to destroy hidden Banten ninjutsu books. He believes Kairaushu is securing scrolls, so they should resume normal lives. Reimei returns to Banten to protect Miharu. Meanwhile, Koichi destroys the Banten books at school. Miharu worries about his eye and the Shinrabanshu's absence. Miharu questions Reimei about their relationship, and they acknowledge their friendship. Reimei recalls her past with her brother Reiku and their family's swords. While walking Miharu home, Reimei worries about her motives for being with him. Miharu encounters a troubled Yamase sensei, seeking help after being cast aside by Kairaushu. Yamase, influenced by a strange legend, attacks Miharu. Reimei and Koichi intervene, capturing Yamase. Reimei questions him about her brother Reiku. Yamase reveals encountering Reiku 5 years ago during the Jakushu Ryuha's search for Kairaushu. Yamase escapes, claiming everyone around Miharu only uses him. Miharu tells the group the Shinrabanshu may not be in him. Reimei promises loyalty, and Miharu chooses to believe her. At Juji's house, Kumohira finishes making Irish braids when a short man claiming to be Taru Zeman arrives. Kataru, Kumohira, Saraba, and Juji discuss Togakushi Ninja's hiding as an employee placement agency. Kumohira questions Kataru's disregard for the deaths of 3 ninjas. Kumohira challenges Kataru's decision to escalate the situation. Kataru challenges Kumohira to a fight to demonstrate his naivety. Kataru, using transformations, overwhelms Kumohira. Saraba takes Kumohira back to Banten, and Kataru reflects on their differing philosophies. At Miharu's house, Koichi and Reimei are on guard, but both get knocked out by Yoit, leaving Miharu unguarded. After Yoit's attack, Koichi and Reimei, still shaken, inform Kumohira, who just returned to Banten, that they can't find Miharu. Kumohira blames himself for sending them back and wants to head to Iga, but Koichi and Reimei insist he calms down. Kumohira worries about Miharu's safety, but Koichi reassures him, pointing out that Yoit spared them. Kumohira reluctantly agrees to rest. Yukimi informs Tajiro that Yoit is missing and Yamase is elsewhere. Tajiro worries about completing Yoit properly and emphasizes the need for being an evolutionist and a criminal to change the world. Yukimi reluctantly follows orders. Tajiro instructs him to watch over Yoit and contact his secretary for more orders. Meanwhile, Miharu accompanies Yoit, questioning his motives. They reach an abandoned railroad site where Yoit reveals a personal desire to erase his existence. Yoit wishes Miharu to change his past so he was never born. Miharu, struggling with the overwhelming wisdom of the Hijutsu, insists he can't use it. Yoit, indifferent to life and death, advises Miharu on overcoming obstacles to obtain the wisdom. Miharu chooses option 3, using the Hijutsu for Yoit's sake to prevent harm to his friends. Yoit dispels the Kira affecting Miharu's right eye, claiming only he can do it due to his limited lifespan. Yoit, pleased, calls it their secret and promises to help Miharu become the ruler of Nabari. They plan to collect Kinjutsu for a manual on using the Shinrabanshu. Yoit, exhausted, leaves, assuring Miharu they'll meet again. Kumohira, Koichi, and Reimei find Miharu at his okonomiyaki store, and Kumohira joyfully embraces him. Yoit returns home, confirming to Yukimi he didn't kill Miharu. Yoit questions if he's truly alive, feeling unrecognized. Yukimi insists he's alive, offering him tea and assuring he's always welcome. Yoit expresses a bad feeling, but Yukimi dismisses it, saying he hates emo kids. Miharu, Koichi, and Kumohira take up their first mission to obtain a Kenjutsu. They start out by helping out Yi Oda of Togakushi Ninja Village and the president of her own dispatch company, Fog Blue. She offers them their Kenjutsu Izanashingen, the ability to read the hearts and minds of others, if they manage to help her assassinate a corporate guy called Mr. Frosty. He is going to make a deal with another unscrupulous guy, Hideo Noaki. Yi has a grudge against Frosty because she believes he was indirectly responsible for killing her daughter in some medical experiment, as he also creates dangerous weapons and has some ties with Kairushu. Yi could use her Izanashingen and got more than she bargained for when she tried to read Miharu's heart, but was overpowered by Shinrabansu. Reimei temporarily leaves the gang to search for her brother Reiku, whom she believed joined Kairushu and was responsible for slaughtering their family and clan. Yukimi and Yoit are assigned to be Frosty's bodyguards. They start moving, but the attempted assassination is stopped when the Kairushu duo hold Miharu hostage. Yoit becomes insane when he realizes Yi's Kenjutsu, taking out Frosty's bodyguards. He stops when Miharu steps in to protect Yi. Kumohira is about to kill Frosty, but his naivety prevents him from doing so. His principle is never to kill anyone, no matter what, so this gives Frosty an opportunity to point a gun at him. Luckily, Koichi appears in time, kills Frosty, and uses his hypnotism on Noaki to make him believe he was the one who killed everybody. With that done, Yi hands over the Izanashingen scroll as promised. Miharu stays with Kumohira for the time being, so he tells the latter that he is bent on using Shinrabanshu to save Yoit. Kumohira isn't happy to see that his goal is to seal it. Elsewhere, Yoit's body is starting to give way due to his Kira usage, so he treads his way to find Miharu. He collapses outside Kumohira's house and is found by Hanabusa Seki, Kumohira's love interest and paleontologist. She takes him in and treats him nicely, but he remains suspicious of her kindness. Yoit tells Miharu to bring Izanashingen and Ingetsurin, or else the lives of his friends are at stake. Meanwhile, Reimei finally confronts Reiku, but the sword fight ends with the former being heavily wounded. He takes away her sword, and that means embarrassment in the code of the samurai. Reimei is taken to the hospital, but is soon discharged. They meet Gao Meguro, Reiku's assistant, as he tells them the truth about Reiku, and is willing to put his own life on the line. When Reiku's strict mom became the head of the clan, he started to hate her when she was disallowed to help a friend who later died. He started to believe in his uncle, who shared the same ideals. Then one night they went to confront his mom. But as it turned out, it was just an old grudge that his uncle wanted to get back at her. They start a coup d'etat that kills his mom, and this eventually leads Reiku to kill his uncle and the rest. That was when Reimei saw and misinterpreted things. He did this to protect her and didn't mind if she hated him, so he left the clan to join Kairushu. Reimei returns to finish her fight with Reiku. She lost again and was about to be slashed when Gao came between them. He believes this is his punishment for breaking his promise not to tell, and he feels siblings should not fight. Gao is hospitalized but in a coma, and though Reiku would continue to be under Kairushu, he leaves his sword on the battlefield. Reimei informs Miharu that Kumohira told her about his determination to help Yoit, so she is going to help him whenever possible too. Soon, Miharu decides to join Kairoshu because he feels he will be able to achieve his goal here. He meets Hattori and surprises him and his blind companion Ikiki by handing over the Izanashingen scroll. Both Banten and Kairoshu receive an invitation to the Kuga Ninja Village, blended in as a university called Alia Academy. Yukimi, Reiku, Yoit, and Miharu are to represent Kairoshu. Upon arrival, they are welcomed by the students of Alia in place of the bedridden and ailing headmaster, who is also the head of Kuga. Everyone's intention is to obtain Dea, Kuga's Kenjutsu with the properties to heal or cure any sort of illness. That night, Banten and Kairoshu are being attacked by the students, but these low-level ninjas are easily overpowered, so more revelations like the Academy girls want to use Dea to revive their headmaster, but the only thing to activate it is the need for young human sacrifice. That's why Banten and Kairoshu are here, and the vice principal of Alia, Kanuki, wants to get his hands on Dea so he can sell it and make a handsome profit. While rounding up and trapping the gang, Kanuki shoots and kills Koichi. When Miharu sees Yoik being hurt by one of the academy girls, he starts going berserk, and his Shinrabanchu goes wild. However, Shinrabansu backs down after seeing Miharu and is confused and lacks determination because he is afraid to bear the consequences, though he wants to fulfill Yoit's wish. Kanuki and his men confront the headmaster and threaten to surrender Dea, or he'll kill each of the prisoners. The headmaster doesn't flinch, and suddenly Koichi busts in to kill the corrupted baddies. After freeing everyone, the headmaster's granddaughter is desperate to cure him, but he is just tired of everything, is prepared to die like an ordinary old man, and wants to end all this. Before he passes away, he hands the Dea scroll to one of the girls, who in turn hands it over to Miharu at the end of it all before they return home. Thank you for watching. I only cover 1 to 15 episodes. If you want to continue this anime, the anime name is in the description box.